Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2025 Chess World Cup, this massive knockout tournament that will determine the final 3 spots for the candidates, and of course the winner of the candidates tournament will challenge Gukesh in the next World Championship match. This is the second of a potential 3 days of finals. In the grand finale, we have Jawahir Sindara versus Wei Yi. In the match for the bronze medal and the last candidate spot, we have Nodirbek Yakoboyev and Andrei Yesipenko, and Yakoboyev is in a must-win situation. He lost yesterday. If he doesn't win today, Yesipenko's in the candidates, and he wins the 3rd place. And if Wei Yi and Sindarov don't have a winner today, they will play a tiebreak. So that's the way it works, right? We could have a 2-day or a 3-day finale. That's the way it works. Now, we are going to kick things off, obviously, with the match for the winner of the World Cup, although they, frankly, basically are both winners at this point because they are both making the candidates tournament. And Wei Yi has the white pieces. Wei Yi plays e4. Sindarov responds with e5. Symmetrical king-spawn game. Obviously trying to be solid. We have knight f3, knight c6. And now white can play many things. White can play the Italian. White can play the Spanish. Wei Yi plays knight c3. Which, at the highest level, if you play the 4 knights, chances are not particularly high that you want to play for a win. Because this is not the best strategy. This position, black has, generally already completely equalized the chances. The bishop comes out on the next move. Black can also play d5. And at this point, white is resorting to moves like a4. Like, I'm not even joking. People are playing a4 in this position, or like moves like h3, just to do something unique. We have bishop b5 from Wei Yi because it's an interesting move. Knight d4, immediately jumping into the position. We've actually seen this already. Knight takes, pawn takes, and this move e5. Pawn takes, queen takes, pawn takes. And from the opening, we have this position. As we can see from the time management of both players, they didn't have to think to get here. I mean, they literally just played a bunch of moves and got here, and this position is just already completely equal. It's 0.1. White has a very slight lead in development, with the rook maybe coming to the middle and the bishop being a little bit faster, but Wei Yi plays this move. Now we have a totally symmetrical pawn structure. Yeah, and I'm not going to I'm not gonna... There absolutely nothing happened in this game. Absolutely nothing. The game was drawn in about 5 minutes. So the boys did not feel like playing classical chess. They would prefer to play rapid and blitz. Now, I am actually not criticizing them whatsoever with my next sentence. They are already in the candidates tournament. The fact that they are going to crown the World Cup winner in rapid and blitz is totally fine. But when you see that this is the attitude to the classical portion, look, I've complained as a fan and spectator of chess for a long, long time. I've criticized the international governing body. We're going to put aside all this stuff about some of the things that have been said after the passing of Daniel Naroditsky, although I have said that I will continue to talk about that, and I will, and the way their CEO went to social media and acted. And he's just gone back, like as always, to posting birthdays and posting, the next tournament. We're gonna stay on that for a bit of how belligerently unprofessional that whole thing is. But specifically talking about the tournament, like, how can the final game be done in 5 minutes? That's kind of crazy, But tomorrow it's going to be decided. And that's that. That's the recap. So, yeah, cool. Okay, now we go to the 3rd place match. So now we might have 2 matches that are done. Like, one is done and one is still going. Yakoboyev has to beat Yesipenko. He has to beat him to force a tiebreak. We will see. Knight f3, d5, g3. So we have a ready. Knight f3, g3. Very solid system. Bishop, knight f6, sorry. Bishop g2, e6. If you want to play the ready with black, this is basically the main line. you just develop your pieces. You don't put the bishop on d6 because sometimes it can actually get hit with certain things. Like there are like random knight jumps to b5. The bishop here can be a little bit more of a target in the long run, and also you kind of remove a defender of the center. Although obviously, bishop d6 is a very natural move, but the bishop actually is better on e7. c4, castles, and now, the moment of truth. Is Yakoboyev going to play b3, which is the neo-Catalan, or is he going to play d4, which is a real Catalan, or is he going to play this move, d3? d3 is I've seen Magnus play this move. I mean, it almost feels like you mouse slipped a regular Catalan. The idea is quite straightforward. It's that if this trade happens, white is better. White is better because this bishop is just very good, and this bishop is not. I mean, that's basically it. And, if black is not careful, like if black plays one absent-minded move, white is going to go queen b3 immediately, put pressure, and then white is going to go bishop f4 and rook d1 and knight c3. And it just sort of feels like that side of the board is going to be kind of on watch for a long, long time. So, yeah, shockingly, Yesipenko doesn't take. It just puts 2 pawns in the center. The D and C pawns go very well together in queen's pawn games, and next move is going to be knight c6, which is why here Yakoboyev plays knight e5, designed completely against this move. So now if black were to play this, white, of course, would trade, and these doubled pawns would give white a considerable advantage, which he could then try to exploit with a plethora of moves. But basically, in the long run, is that if this happens, black is going to suffer. These pawns can't move. White will hunt them with queen a4. Apparently, queen a4 is a terrible move. White will play well, okay, I mean, sorry. Yeah, if you have e5, just winning a pawn, obviously. But let's just say, this is the position. Still, e5 and queen a4 and queen a3, long run. If you can get a knight to a4, you'll be very happy. The knight to a4 would appear in these types of positions. But with the pawn on d4, you're not going to get your knight here. Sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain. Anyway, knight c6. None of that is going to happen. We have a6. And this is kind of the moment of truth. Like, is Yakoboyev going to go for something here? He goes queen b3. And now, Yesipenko thought for a little while here and was like, what if I just attack the knight? And Yakoboyev defended it with the pawn, and then Yesipenko was like, what if I just attack the knight a second time? So now the knight is just targeted 2 times. The best move in the position is probably not to move it back. The second you move it back, black will take over. So he doesn't move it back. He goes pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5, and now white has one move here, and that move is knight c3. The idea of knight c3 is that if black were to take this, you would get the bishop pair, knight takes d5, bishop f4, you would have a very powerful initiative. So Yakoboyev really should go knight c3. But he didn't. He immediately took the pawn. And what's shocking about this move is that it immediately loses for white. Like, it's an immediately losing position. Why is it immediately losing? Takes. Like, how is it immediately losing? Why is the position minus 1.3? This is one of those moments where the position is minus 1.3, but there's only one move. What is the move? You say, probably attack the queen. Nope. Then it's just 0.7. So what is the move here, right? I mean, well, here's the move. This is probably the move Yakoboyev missed. b5. Yesipenko, a man after my own heart, sacrifices the rook. Sacrifices without even moving it. Looks like a blunder. Looks like a beginner mistake. Looks like there's no 2 here. It's just 681. He goes b5 with the intention of playing bishop b7 and putting the bishop on this diagonal and attacking the queen. And he sacrifices his rook, and you can't take it. Because if you take it, after bishop to b7 and queen a7, the queen is trapped. You say, how? Knight c6! Because the queen's stuck, and if you take queen c6, it's mate, and the queen is trapped. But it's crazy because the queen is actually not trapped via the rook. The queen is trapped via the bishop. That's brutal. And then you would have to play this position, and yeah, I mean, Yakoboyev's good, but he's not that good with no queen. Hot take. I think I could even beat him in this position with black. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely brutal. Like, when b5 happens, this is the 12th move. We are like 40 minutes into this game. Wei Yi and Sindarov are at the pool already. Like, they're gone. They're way gone. They've been gone. b5, they're probably watching this game like, b5? Damn! Yeah, b5's a problem. You really don't recover from b5. b5 is like getting dropped by a punch. Knight scrambles back to f3. Immediately, here come the bishops. Here comes the queen. And Yesipenko just gets the whole squad into the game. This is a very creative play by him, by the way. Pawn down, very powerful bishops. This is almost like what's called marshal compensation. There is an opening in chess called the marshal in the Rue Lopez. Black sacrifices a pawn, but generally has two bishops and kind of targets white's king. E4, and a crushing move. Pawn to c4, targeting the base of the pawn chain, which is going to really destabilize the center. Yakoboyev plays bishop e3. It's just a free pawn now, which Yesipenko doesn't even take. He spends 20 minutes going here because he wants to jump in with the knight, and probably you have to take this. But if you take it, you lose everything. Because I attack the king, then I will take the pawn. I don't even have to take the pawn, by the way. I'll try to get you to take the pawn. So Yesipenko isn't even going to spend an entire move taking the pawn. He plays knight c5. Yakoboyev plays e5. The bishop slides back. Now pawn takes c4, pawn takes c4, but the light squares are absolutely collapsing in the white position. The light squared bishop for black is a monster. How are you going to have 4 pawns on dark squares inviting in this bishop? I mean, this is a miserable position. Knight bd2, the knight comes into d3. This is hanging, which means this will become a passer. Yesipenko's going to win the pawn back and have the compensation of the position. h4, desperate times call for desperate measures. He brings the rook. Very instructive game, how he literally just galloped the knight into d3. The rook is there now. You play rook b1, and now bishop c5 comes down with crushing authority. I mean, it's just a matter of technique at this point. Bishop takes, queen takes, the king goes to h2, and in comes the queen to e3. Queen e2 is a threat. Knight f2 is a threat. Everything is a threat. Taking this is going to become a threat. g4 played, and the knight goes to c1. Yeah, when the opponent infiltrates your first rank with a horse, a Trojan horse, just able to be captured. And the absolutely insane thing about this is, when you take this, the rook will sacrifice itself on d2, and the queen and the bishop will do the rest. Rook takes d2, and king g3, queen e2, this is mate. And in this position, Yakoboyev resigned. And the World Cup bronze medal went to Andrei Yesipenko. And the final candidate spot did as well. An absolutely crushing victory. My goodness. Knight to c1. And the point was to sack the rook. If you take, queen takes, and queen g2 is mate. Unbelievable. And in the position in the game, he resigned because, well, king g3, queen e2, I mean, you can try to run away. I just take the knight. And if rook f3, queen h2 is mate, and if you just make a run for it, well, yeah, you can run, but you run directly into a pawn mate. I mean, that would have been this would have been iconic. To go out, the king joins the queen and perishes. I mean, I feel like this would have been cinematic, like a movie moment. This one was rough. I mean, it's just really a tale of like 2 matchups. Like, the World Cup final is fascinating. It's a very, very fascinating little dynamic. Because on the one hand, you have Sindarov and Wei who are like, draw in 5 minutes, we're going to come back tomorrow, rapid and blitz. And then, you know, here you have Yakoboyev, who didn't make the candidates. He made it to the semifinal, and 3 of the 4 people were going to make it, but he didn't, right? And that's brutal. It's always been brutal in the World Cup, because it used to be the people that made the finals make the candidates, right? And that was that. I think it even used to be the person who won the finals made the candidates. I'm not 100% sure about that, because they've changed the format every year. But it used to be that 3rd and 4th place didn't make it at all. Well, this year, somebody in 3rd place did. But absolutely brutal. Commiserations, obviously, to Yakoboyev. He still had an incredible tournament, but it just was not his time yet. Yesipenko makes it to the candidates. So the candidates, right now, Hikaru, Fabiano Caruana, right, the 2 Americans. Then we have Yesipenko. Then we have Wei Yi, we have Sindarov, that's 5. Then we have Giri, right? Then we have Bluebaum, and then we have Prague. So we have Indian representation in the form of Prague. We have United States representation in the form of Hikaru and Fabi, just like last time. The lone Russian, Yesipenko. If Yesipenko didn't make the candidates, it would have been the first time, listen to this, ever without a Russian. Crazy stuff. I mean, you talk about that. We have an Uzbek in the candidates. First time, maybe since, well, first time in the modern era. Obviously, Kazimjanov was an incredible player from Uzbekistan, but in the modern era, Nojibek has never made it. It's an Uzbek in the candidates, and his name is not Nojibek Abdusatorov, so that's pretty mind-blowing. We have a German in the candidates, but it's not Vincent Keimer. So very, very interesting times, you know? We have a Chinese player, but it's, you know, it's Wei Yi. I mean, if Wei Yi wins the candidates, can you imagine? It's Gukesh beating Ding Liren, and out of nowhere surges Wei Yi. What's so fascinating about the candidates tournament is that if you look at the players like Sindarov, do you know how many classical tournaments Sindarov played this year? 3. In what other sport can you play 3 tournaments and then qualify to the most important tournament that exists? It's just weird. Chess is weird. The whole system is weird. Bluebaum out of nowhere from the top row. Yo, poor Bluebaum, man. They are going to hunt that man in the candidates. They are going to hunt him. He better come prepared. He better hire Vincent to help him. All right, we got to cheer for the underdog. Every candidate has an underdog. This candidate has one. I mean, you know, let's be very clear. Yesipenko also will have to really put in a lot of work. He obviously fell off since he was 2730-ish. I think that was his rating. So it's very, very curious. I will obviously make a dedicated preview video of it when time comes. It's going to start late March 2026. It's apparently in Cyprus. And that's all I have for you today. But I guess I have to make another recap video because the World Cup's not actually over. Because tomorrow we have Wei Yi playing Sindarov in a World Cup final that doesn't really matter because they already made the candidates. But they're going to play some rapid games and we will see. So someone's going to become the World Cup champ. Very exciting, I think, sort of. That's all. You know where to find me otherwise. Check out Chess for Babies if you haven't already. How to Win at Chess, Next Level, second book for intermediate players, 12 to roughly 16, 1700, dropping October 2026. You know, we got the merch store going. Proceeds will be going to the Memorial Fund of one Daniel Naroditsky. Yeah, a lot of stuff happening. December 1st, big holiday event is coming to Chessly. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening on this channel for the next 35 days. I'm about to beat the world in chess. If you haven't gone to Gotham Chess versus the world yet, you really should. I'm about to beat 200,000 people in a chess game, so that's pretty awesome. And I'm going to stop talking now. Maybe see you all tomorrow. Get out of here.